Hello and welcome to a mini-sode, I guess. It's a good way to call it. I don't know how long this is going to take. It could take hours, it could take minutes. But we're troubleshooting today. We're troubleshooting this problem right here. The issue here is if you look at the RAM, it's not syncing green, even though the motherboard's syncing green. And down there, it's also green. And as you can tell, the whole theme of this is obviously green and black. I mean, I've got green and black cables to go with my green and black PC. But I can't seem to get Aura to launch. So we're gonna go ahead and try to fix it. Now I've tried the obvious fixes, which are like uninstall and reinstall Aura, and that hasn't had much of an effect. So we're going to do more drastic measures. I'm going to try a BIOS update, which I have never successfully done. Son of a bitch. Still not working. It's still not working. So, we've updated the BIOS. I've tried uninstalling it. Let me see if there's a special utility necessary to uninstall Aura. Well, I give up. I've tried everything. Installing new BIOS, updating the software, doing a clean install, doing a clean wipe, wiping it using third-party software. I have legitimately tried everything I can think of, and everything that was actually in a guide to how to fix Aura when it's not working. That was actually posted a couple of days ago, and nothing is actually working. So I'm gonna shoot ASUS an email. I don't know, like let's see what happens. You know what, the last time we had an issue that we couldn't solve, we shot them an email and they came up with a solution. So let's see what we can do. So progress has been made. I can now open Aura again. Only problem is now it's acting like my computer doesn't have any Aura connected devices, even though the whole thing is an Aura connected device. So, update time. Oh. It's not 100%. The RAM is now being picked up in Aura, but the motherboard is not. Granted, the motherboard is still on its green preset from the first time. That's actually like the one thing I wasn't able to fix at all. I'm gonna go ahead and try and like disable it from the BIOS, see if we can get it to pop up as a device that's been released, but from there, I guess it's just gonna be some basic stuff. But after all of this is actually gonna end up being a full-length episode. I'm actually going to stop and explain what the heck happened. Hey, you wanna see something dumb? Okay, so what the heck is going on with that? I don't know. I really don't. Now all of them are green, but I can't control the RAM modules in Aura, and the RAM modules are set to green instead of rainbow by default. I don't know what's happening there, but it's the right color. So I'm not gonna freak out too much. I'm not going to waste too much time on it, to be completely honest. Like, if I can control the motherboard and I control the LEDs and I'm controlling the RAM and nothing's screwing up, we're going with that. And sometimes it just works. I got Aura fixed. I'm not 100% sure. I just let it sit overnight, and now the RAM the strip, everything is all synced together, doing its thing. Let's explain exactly what happened. You see, my ASUS AuraSync completely crapped out on me. I can't launch it, I can't run it, I can't do anything. Uninstalling it, clean uninstalling it, doing everything that was in this article over here that I'm scrolling through on screen did nothing. It didn't even fix the problem. So I had to reach out to ASUS support to get a solution to this problem. And honestly, this was way too much work to have to go through to fix lighting software. So the root of the problem that even ASUS really couldn't find was I had had multiple versions of Aura from the point that I'd had my computer. I had upgraded up to 1.7 right before this, and that caused some problems. So I downgraded back to 1.6.5, and that wasn't working anymore. Their solution was to completely wipe Aura from the system, nuke style, and I did actually follow through with that. But what I found was not really a fix by doing that, but necessarily finding a different directory altogether. Now, we'll go through the steps that ASUS talked about to make sure if this is your problem that you can fix it this way. But they suspected that it was a error with the roots of the program and it wasn't able to launch properly that way. And truthfully, that would be a general solution. To get that problem and fix it, all you have to do is uninstall Aura, restart your computer, go into services, disable all ASUS services, then restart your computer again and delete all ASUS folders from your computer. Here's where my solution deviated. Now, when you go into control panel, you can actually see all services that are running or attempting to run on your system. One of those services was Lighting Controller, which is actually what was supposed to be running. But at this point, I had no lighting controller other than my Razer Synapsys, and that was very clearly marked under Razer Synapse. So this was not the problem. So I go ahead and I trace the roots back. You know, I go in and say, where's the executable? And I find another folder, one that's not even marked with ASUS's name, that just says Lighting Controller, and in it are a bunch of ASUS EXEs, which was strange. So I went and forcibly deleted it by going into the Windows services and actually finding not ASUS Lighting Controller, but Lighting Controller itself. It was separated all the way in the L's. I disabled it, restarted the computer, and deleted that folder. From there, I went into the registries and actually completely deleted all of the trees related to the lighting control software, which was actually the last step ASUS did say you need to do. After that, I restarted the computer and tried 1.7 again. Don't do that. Well, maybe do that now because there was actually a new driver after my issue, like literally the day after. I may have inadvertently helped them discover that there was an issue with that driver, but there was an issue with that driver and they recalled it and put a new one out. When I installed that version, only my RAM, my Trident Z RAM, showed up as controllable, even though the whole thing is interconnected into a ASUS motherboard. So that problem was irritating, but I uninstalled it and it actually didn't leave anything behind this time, and reinstalled 1.6.5. That version controlled my motherboard and my add-in strips, and everything was hunky-dory with that, I guess. But my RAM wasn't showing up. And at that point, I was too tired to even work on it anymore, so I just shut down the computer and decided the next day we were going to fix it. And the next day came along, I turned it on, and all of a sudden my RAM's controllable again. And that is because the Trident Z memory actually retains a little bit of information between startups. If you actually just restart your computer, the Trident Z memory will actually stay whatever Aura told it to be. But if you let it sit for longer than a few hours,
all of the energy drains from the system, and the Trident Z memory forgets what it was controlled by and what it is supposed to be doing, and it goes all rainbow. That is why this suddenly worked, because now it forgot what controller it was attached to. It thought it was 1.7, but now it's thinking it's 1.615, and it was working again. You can turn off the power to the system and hold down the power button to mimic the same effect. But this wasn't easy. This was not an easy process to get to, and I honestly hope this part of the video has helped you guys learn what I had to learn in a very short period of time. All right, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you can leave a like, comment, subscribe. I went through a lot of trouble getting this software working again. But now that it's working, it hasn't had any issues. The system looks good, which is part of the problem and why I couldn't just let the problem sit. I had to fix it because we're very close to the end of Nova build, and I would rather it not be RGB puke when I show off my green and black system. So thank you guys again. I don't know when the next time I'll do a video like this is, but if you enjoyed it, subscribe. I do videos about tech and video games and skateboarding occasionally, because those are just my hobbies and that's what I do. So thank you guys again. Wolfie out.